It is 9 p.m. Eastern. We are on time. We are not muted. It's a miracle. Maybe we can pull off the trifecta and maybe we can actually draft us a good fantasy football team. Not going to get my hopes too high though, but we are going to be hopping in. Not the big dog, not the mastiff. I promise you we'll get in some high stakes drafts closer to the season. But I mean, based off the drafts that we had yesterday, I am not having nearly enough confidence to stop in a $500 draft right now. Now, yes, of course, the drafts yesterday, we got picks 9 and 10. Just kill me. But here, we're going to instead get in a Best Ball Mania, largest tournament on Underdog, of course. I mean, it's filling incredibly fast. 86,000 entrants already. It's a $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool, $1.5 million for first place. What's incredible is the top 20 places all get 6 figures. So, I mean, with obviously some of them getting 7 figures. So, we are chasing life-changing money. We are getting in this draft. And like I said at the beginning of the offseason, this is the year we take down Best Ball Mania. This is the year we win it, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you so much for everybody coming out. And hell yes, we get pick 5. Let's go. Gonna be a good stream. We somehow are on time. Somehow not muted. And yeah, we're good. Garrett was in Tampa, not St. Pete. But Tampa was great, to be honest with you. Mr. Padilla asking if we just worked out. No, sir. Am I looking bad? I mean, we got off the bike a few hours ago, but I got in the shower. I showered today, so maybe it's the bulging muscles coming through with the suit jacket on. Maybe that's what it is, my friend. But we got Loop out here at pick 12. We got Waffle Taco out here at pick 9. We got WC Finn out here at pick 7. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Sound says, Old Best Ball made it into round 2 last year, but Tyreek was dead, so I was 2. So I was so excited in Best Ball Mania last year. I stuck a team into round 2 that had both Tyreek and Jonathan Taylor. And I was saying, okay, if they both play this week at low ownership, because neither of them did anything week 1 of the playoff tournament, I thought we were going to have 2 guys that could be the number 1 overall scoring player at their respective positions at low ownership. Was so freaking excited. Then obviously it did not work out. I mean, that team did not make it to the final, but happy to see a Jeep guy, my friend. But Deluxe 5 says, is Jefferson a lock at 5? I'm going to be going wide receiver at 5, especially now that CMC's off the board. It really just comes down to what wide receiver that we are going to be looking at. I mean, I've had some of these drafts where I think we had a draft earlier. I actually drafted today off the live stream. We were recording a video where we got Jamar Chase at pick 6. So, I mean, if Jefferson's the guy that makes it to us, we'll probably take Jefferson. If you wanted to sit here and make a strong argument for Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm not going to argue with you. I think you can make an argument for Tyreek, Chase, Jefferson, St. Brown, all in this range. I'm probably just going to take whoever's highest according to ADP. That way we can balance out our exposures across all these guys. But Doge, I believe, yeah, goes Chase. So we are going to take Justin Jefferson here at 5. If you wanted to make an argument for Amon-Ra St. Brown, you do you. If you're in like a super casual redraft league where it's like a really small bench and you only start 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex, if you wanted to pull the trigger on a running back like Bijan or Breece Hall here, I wouldn't mind that either. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. We will take Jefferson here at 5. But let's see. Cole, I'll get to the bone-in versus boneless question in a second. Batman Gaming says, what's up, Mason? Burrow hurts in a Superflex Dynasty. I have Burrow and Stroud. My friend, I appreciate you. And I will tell you right now, most people would rather have Jalen Hurts. If it's a redraft perspective, I'm for sure taking Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow. From a Dynasty perspective, I typically want to be giving the benefit of the doubt to the quarterback that's going to be deriving their value primarily through the air, not necessarily what they can do as a rusher, just because I don't have the faith that the quarterbacks with the rushing ability and Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson are going to continue to be elite rushers at the position 5 years from now. So, I mean, I would tell you right now, most people are going to have Jalen Hurts. Both guys are phenomenal. If it's a 6-point passing touchdown format, I'm for sure going to go Joe Burrow. 4-point passing touchdown format, I think it's up to you, but I honestly may go Burrow. Okay. But let's go back to the bone-in versus boneless question. One, let me hear what you have to say in the live chat. I already know what everybody's going to say. TJ says, Bone in all day, not even close. Boneless is for cat people who don't go camping. Okay. Don't know what camping has anything to do with your wing selection, my friend. But anyway, let's wait for what everybody has to say in the live chat. We talked about this before. I don't know if y'all remember my take on it, but well, I'll remind you. Now, Olave, Barkley both go off the board here in the middle of round 2. Obviously, I'd have been freaking pumped to get Barkley. If we're going to be looking at Adams, Nico, Evans, Kyron, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take Devontae Adams. Before we did the research with the expected range of outcomes that you had with Devontae Adams and his age this next season, I was expecting that Adams would have been someone that we were drafting heavily. And honestly, I was expecting before we did the research to have Devontae Adams ranked ahead of Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, Drake London, and maybe even Harrison and Debo. Once we did the research, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, Devontae Adams going into year 10 of his NFL career based off the projections that you should have for the offense overall, based off what we saw from Adams last season. I'm not going to sit here and act like Devontae Adams is a slam dunk pick here at 20. But, I mean, we made the video a couple days ago talking about how pretty much all these guys in round 2 have red flags. Okay. But we got bone in. Okay, so Loop, this is kind of where I'm at with this. Batman says boneless when I'm out and bone in when I'm home. So there are 2 different types of boneless wings. One, there's the spongy kind of meat, like the chicken nugget, right? If you're biting into like a chicken tender nugget, whatever it is, if it's like the spongy meat, throw that crap in the garbage. That's like the equivalent of a hot dog for a chicken nugget. We're not doing that, right? So if you're thinking of the spongy meat, aka chicken nugget for a boneless, there's no argument to ever do boneless. However, if it's an actual chicken breast where it's like strip, like the meat will come in, like you can tear it apart and you'll see like the strip fibers, whatever you want to call it. It's not ground up spongy meat. There, I think you can make an argument for boneless primarily based off price. I don't think anybody's going to argue that boneless tastes better than bone-in. But we know that, just like Jeep Guy said, you're going to get more chicken for cheaper. So, I don't know. Here it's interesting. Obviously, Kyron's, you're getting a discount based off the injury. That is, F it. We'll go ahead. We'll take Kyron Williams. I think this is our first time drafting Kyron Williams all year. But previously, you had to take him early round 2. Now we're getting him mid round 3, given the injury discount. So we'll go ahead and we'll just take Kyron Williams here, 29. But Igor says, you were drafting today off stream. You went Jefferson and Addison. I went Williams, DJ Moore, Allen, stacking Red X. You will see that in a video coming out soon, my friend. Yes, we recorded that for a video. I'm actually really excited about that video, but happy that you're able to be in with us. Cody says, been a minute, ready to start drafting this year. Happy to see you. My friend Cody has been with us forever now. But yeah, going back to... Okay, Tiger, can't beat the value of a rotisserie chicken 100%. Not going to argue against that. I will say Costco switched to rotisserie chickens, though, where it's like in a plastic bag type thing now versus like the more solid Tupperware looking container. So I don't know. I'm looking at that plastic bag that Costco's chicken is. Rotisserie's in now. I'm saying, like, dear God, that chicken over 100 degrees sitting in plastic is that not melting plastic on your chicken? So little scared to get the Costco. And also Costco rotisserie chicken's honestly not that good. It's just so damn cheap. But I will say, so if you would have asked me bone in versus boneless, getting all the way back to that question. And if you would have asked me a while ago, I would have said boneless, because a while ago I was cheaper. Now that I have more money, I honestly would probably say bone in. I'm trying to get away from my cheap ways, because I don't really need to be super cheap anymore like I used to. So now I'm probably going to go bone in. But Jeep Guy says, who's a moderator here? We have 10 out of 12 for a flock mod league, drafting on the 2nd. I will look for one. I know Cody is, if you don't have Cody in already. And 2, I'll look for a couple other people to possibly make mods. I don't think we've made anybody a mod in like the past 12 months. I don't know. I don't know if we've made anybody moderate in the past year. Baby Dragon says, Flock, how important is correlation with weeks 16 and 17 bringbacks? I'm seeing people take these things into play with every single pick. 100%, it is something that you have to be considering. It kind of depends on the tournament selection that you are in. If you're going to be in one of the higher stakes, smaller field underdog tournaments, like the big dog tournament or the massive tournament, I'm not considering it in the slightest. Here, if you're in Best Ball Mania where all the money is up for grabs in week 17, it is something that I think most people will and should take into consideration. I'm still primarily going to be focusing in on the correlation with my own stacks among my roster and trying to get my roster construction correct. Because while I do think it has an impact on the large field contest, especially this year, because last year I didn't care as much given the fact that you also had the regular season scoring for Best Ball Mania. But now that all the money is up for grabs in week 17, I definitely think that it is more important. But Best Ball Mania, yes, it's going to be important. If you're going to be in the high stakes underdog fields with drafts with a smaller field in general, there I wouldn't be too concerned. But yeah, Falony's been with us forever now, Jeep Guy, if you need to get him in. Okay. Let's move this over. We have Lamar pick 44. Y'all know I'm going to be taking a ton of Lamar. I mean, Lamar was my most drafted quarterback last year. And so I will continue to just draft the hell out of him, given the fact that it's super easy to take him, even if you don't get Lamar stacked up, given the fact that he has the rushing upside. And you also have potential stacks you can be looking at later on. Okay. Anthony says, new Costco chicken bag is so much safer from poppage. Old format was riskier than drafting next. What do you mean by poppage, my friend? But James Cook off the board at pick 50. Let's swing this back around. Obviously, it's not a secret to anybody. When we go Lamar Jackson in round 4, we are sending up a prayer that we get Mark Andrews in round 5. This team has Nico Collins, so I'm assuming they're going to go Stroud, and I'm assuming we may get Andrews. If they go Andrews, we're going to be passing on Stroud, and instead we'd be looking at Keenan, McLaurin, Rachaad White, Anthony. We wouldn't be looking at quarterback almost regardless, given the fact that we just took Lamar. But the hope here, of course, is that they decide to go out there and take Stroud, and they do. So we are going to get Andrews paired up with Lamar. Okay, give me some props here, ladies and gentlemen. I was 1, on time to this live stream. A miracle. 2, the microphone was turned on when we started live streaming. Very rarely are we going 2 for 2. And then 3, somehow it looks like we may be drafting a good fantasy football team for the first time ever. Yes, this is living the dream here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Anthony says the lid would pop off from the base on the dry. Oh, okay. Yeah, chicken juice all. I got you, my friend. I got you. But, oh yeah, and somehow if you've made it to round 5, round 6, listening us talk about chicken juice and you don't know what's going on here, I don't know who I'd be talking to, but yeah, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. It's what I've done every day for years and years and years. By far and away my favorite place to draft. It's best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. So I draft hundreds of teams every offseason. So I won $150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago. And yeah, if you want to join a draft with us, we're going to be streaming every single night. You can find that link in the description in the comment section. Code FLOCK will get you hooked up with a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Plus code FLOCK will get you our 2024 fantasy football rankings. Plus code FLOCK will get you a special NBA pick'em. Going to be something like Luka Doncic more than less than half a total point, depending on the day that you sign up with code FLOCK. And then also it's available in damn near every state. I need to update the map, but it is even available in Michigan. So now really the only states that don't have underdog drafts are Washington, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Louisiana, Hawaii. I think that's, and then Connecticut and what state in the Midwest that I don't know, but 90% of the states are good. Okay, so now let's move this over. And we have a ton of wide receivers making it to us, and we only have 2 receivers through the first 5 rounds. So, I mean, we're for sure wanting to look at a wide receiver here with pick 68. I mean, I'm not too excited about taking George Kittle when we just grabbed Andrews. I mean, it would be different if I think Kittle was some massive value or if Kittle were to make it to us in round 7. But instead, I think more likely than not, this will be the group of guys that we are looking at. We're going to be looking at Worthy, Rome, or Jordan Addison. So now that Worthy's gone, especially since we took Jefferson here, I am going to make that concentrated bet that maybe Minnesota's a better offense than people are expecting this next season. While McCarthy, of course, is a question mark. I have no idea what to expect. It's not like he's guaranteed to be bad, right? If you are looking at Addison, a player that was a phenomenal prospect, a better prospect than Worthy, a better prospect than Ladd. I don't want to say a better prospect than Rome, but a better prospect than Worthy and Ladd. And then he goes out there. He has a great year one. I mean, he is being priced as if he's going to have very bad quarterback play, which is a possibility. But we're trying to turn $25 into $1.5 million here, of course. So given the fact that we are looking at that range of outcomes, and we have Jefferson, I think it makes sense to take Jefferson, Addison, and potentially target McCarthy later on. But let's go through. Samuel says, wait, it's available in Michigan now? Yes, sir. Underdog is available in Michigan. I think it draft started being available in Michigan 2 weeks ago. Okay. Let's go through. And after this, we have a bunch of wide receivers going off the board at the end of round 6. We are going to continue to look to go wide receiver here in round 7 if we get someone that we like. Aaron Jones off the board. Joe Burrow's not going to be in play for us, of course. He's really just in play for the Chase team in this range. If the Chase team decides to pass on him, which is a possibility given the fact that they already have the Stroud-Collins stack, you will probably expect Burrow to go to the Higgins team at the end of round 7, the beginning of round 8. Ramadre goes 75. So we know for a fact that there will be running backs that we're excited about in round 8. Okay, and we don't even have the discussion. We don't even have the possibility. We're going to go ahead. We're just going to take Brian Thomas Jr. here at 77. But yeah, I mean, if we're looking at Thomas, prospect, that's great. Should be in a pretty damn good offense. And also, another thing that I like is I like the Lawrence price. So it does give us the possibility of going Trevor Lawrence as our QB2 later on. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to pull the trigger. I think you could have had an argument if Dave Montgomery were to fall, say if the team before us decided to take Jackson Smith and Jigba. But nonetheless, I think Brian Thomas Jr. has the upside and checks a lot of the boxes that we are looking at. Now, Denki says, would you rather a Puka or a Olave in the 204? I'd rather a Puka. I mean, I'm a big Olave guy, right? But ultimately, Puka just went out this past year, and I didn't have him on any of my teams. I wish I did. I didn't win a single underdog tournament last year, primarily because we did not draft Puka, did not draft Kyron, which I'll remind you in every single live stream because it's embarrassing. But yeah, ultimately, if you are looking at Puka, last year's rookie put up a far better season than anything we've ever come close to seeing from Olave, and I don't think the 204 bridges the gap. But yeah, we actually just recorded a video earlier today that my editor texted us. We need to get it on the drive in. It's an in-depth video looking at underdog tournament rates, looking at underdog advance rates over the past 3 seasons. And really, you've seen 2 strategies work out well. That's going to be the hero RB strategy and the zero RB strategy. Robust RB is something that a lot of people were very excited about after year 1 of Underdog, just because it won Best Ball Mania, going with the hyper-fragile running back strategy. If you remember, everybody in year 2 was talking about it. I never really liked going with the hyper-fragile RB build, but regardless, ultimately, you kind of want to be taking one running back through the first 7 rounds, at least based off what we've seen with historical data. And what's very interesting is the historical data says if you take that one running back, it is even better to go with an elite level quarterback and an elite level tight end. If you can take a quarterback and a tight end before round 7 as well. So, I mean, this is, you'll see the video soon. I don't know if it's going to come out tomorrow, the next day, but this is pretty much the dream build that I have on Underdog right now. Jefferson, Adams, Addison, Brian Thomas, a wide receiver, Kyron as our standalone running back, and then the Lamar Andrews stack to go along with him. Okay. Burrow falling a considerable amount here. I mean, I think Burrow's a phenomenal value. Now, of course, we don't have the Cincy guys. I think we have better potential stacks later. So If we were to take Burrow, we're having to go through and we're having to reach in some of these other options. I don't necessarily think that's going to be what we look to do. Instead, we'll go Jalen Warren with the possibility of a Najee trade. We'll see. Let's see. Cameron says Burrow for Allen, straight up a no-brainer dynasty. Oh, 100% you want Josh Allen over Burrow. Like, if I'm looking at Allen, I do think that in the long term, from a dynasty perspective, the rushing production is probably not going to be there forever. Like, obviously, redraft, he's a QB1 based on the fact that this is someone that you can very easily project to have 8 rushing touchdowns in a season. Last year, he had 12. I think last year, he had more than 12. I don't know if that will be the case 5 years from now, but that's a knock of Allen versus Mahomes, right? Burrow's not in the same tier as those guys. Couple people asking about a Najee trade. I mean, if we are looking at Baby Dragon, I already answered your question about week 16, week 17 bringbacks. If we're looking at a Najee trade, I think it's unlikely, but if we've had some smoke out of Pittsburgh, and it kind of would make sense of a round 1 running back that's been disappointing coming to the end of his rookie deal. Okay, let's move this over. Interesting to just see these quarterbacks falling as much as they have. Joe Burrow, ADP is 76. We're on 97. So the team Doge, I mean, this is something we talk about all the time. If you can look at the board and go, okay, nobody else has the potential Cincinnati stack. The Higgins team isn't on the other side of me. We can potentially push it. We can go Pollard at 93 and still get Burrow on the way back around. Looks like that's exactly what they did. It played right into their hands. I mean, that was a phenomenal move by them, and I am very jealous. I mean, they have a super strong team. Now we are at the point where we could go Jordan Love at a value. If we decided to go Love, the Packers that we're taking later on, Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, I'd probably rather just go ahead and take the rookie running back in Trey Benson. Let's bring him in. We'll reiterate what we've been saying all offseason. Yeah, it's a weak rookie running back class, but it's also the cheapest we've ever seen rookie running backs, at least dating back to 2014, where we went through and collected that data over the past 10 years. So I agree. Bad rookie running back class. These guys should be pushed down. Good rookie wide receiver class. Those guys should be pushed up. But also, rookie running backs are the cheapest they've ever been. Rookie wide receivers are the most expensive they've ever been. So it's kind of already priced into the market. Garrett says, I have a feeling Benson will be the starter. I don't think it's the starter week 1, but in these underdog tournaments, we're trying to draft for weeks 15, 16, 17, which I think by then he's a pretty damn good shot at being the starter. Dingy says, do you have full faith in Puka continue to be great? Does McVay or Stafford retirement rumors worry you? I am never taking retirement rumors, especially with a coach as young as Sean McVay, seriously. If we're looking at Stafford, of course, this is a quarterback that is at the end of his career, and you need to be pricing in to not be great or not be there for the long haul. But going back to what we were looking at previously, if you're comparing like Puka to Garrett Wilson, Rodgers isn't going to be there for the long haul. Like, you shouldn't have any more faith in Aaron Rodgers 2 years from now than Matthew Stafford. If you're looking at Chris Olave, there's no reason to give Derek Carr the benefit of the doubt 2 years from now, right? So, I don't know. It's all about, you can be concerned long-term that Stafford's not great, but I mean, just go through and talk about where we would rank Puka from a dynasty perspective. Obviously, you want Lamb ahead of him. You want Chase ahead of him. You want Jefferson ahead of him. You want Amon-Ra St. Brown ahead of him. Outside of that, Tyreek's 30. Outside of that, Garrett Wilson has never been as good as Puka, and he has Rodgers at the end of his career as well. A.J. Brown's much older. Deebo Samuel's much older. Really, the only question that you could have is like Puka versus Marvin Harrison Jr. At least in my mind. Okay, let's move this over. Shakir's not someone I'm going to be taking a ton here. I'd actually probably rather just pull the trigger on Eckler. It's gross. I agree. I'm not excited about it. I think Austin Eckler is most likely washed, indicated by everything we've said all offseason, the contract, what we saw last year. It's a bad situation for him in Washington. But I'm willing to be the idiot who passes on Khalil Shakir for Austin Eckler. Shakir, a wide receiver that his career best, 45 targets in a season. Yes, you have a ton of target availability with the departure of Stephon Diggs as well as Gabe Davis, but I think it's very difficult to just project that automatically to go to Shakir. When they bring in Curtis Samuel, they bring in Keon Coleman, and Shakir's someone that came into the NFL with no pedigree and really hasn't proven to be anything. Okay. Jeep Guy says, if you have to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what are you choosing? Let me know. Do I have to consider the nutritional value of this meal? Do I have to consider the nutritional value or just the taste, and my health and everything is going to remain the same regardless? Okay, so Trevor Lawrence for sure going to be in play for us on the way back around where we have Brian Thomas Jr. We could also go with Jacoby Myers, pair him up with Devontae Adams, and get the correlation in saying that we think the Raiders offense is going to be better than people expect. So Lawrence goes, is that the Kirk team? Yeah, that's the team that decided to go Christian Kirk. So of course can't blame them at all for taking Lawrence where they do. Gus Edwards off the board. I'm not a big Tajay Spears guy. I'm going to go ahead. We will take Jacoby Myers. We'll get that correlation in here with this Raiders passing offense. And yeah, I mean, probably not great quarterback play, probably not a great offense, but we already took Devontae Adams round 2, so we are kind of hoping that it's better than people expect. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's take Myers here, 125. Let's move this over. So Jeep Guy says no, sir, taste only. Super easy answer, my friend. Thinking about something I can eat every day for the rest of my life. Taste only. I already know the two sides. We're going to go mashed potatoes. I don't like mashed potatoes as much as I used to, but they're still a staple. And we're going to go mac and cheese. That is an absolute must. For the meat, for the protein portion, if we're not considering nutritional value, and we're going just based off taste, it's difficult because if I have to eat it every single day for the rest of my life, I don't know if we want something that's like super flavorful and super distinct. Like, I don't know if I'm going to want to go ahead and take like ribs or something. I feel like that's a lot. And also, I mean, just logistically, every time you eat, you have to eat ribs. Like that sounds like honestly, probably sounds like a nightmare. Like what am I going to do with all the bones? Yeah, now that I think about the bone situation, it has to be something I can eat with utensils. Don't have to worry about the bones. Don't want to be making a mess anywhere we go. I think it's probably something boring like chicken. A boneless chicken thigh, probably. Not breast, probably going to go thigh. Okay. Let's move this over. Mike says beef jerky every day, my friend. That's bold. Lube says steak and green beans. One second. We'll get to that. We're going to take someone that everybody hates. I understand why y'all hate him. I don't think he's that good either. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Quentin Johnson, pick 140. Very good offense. He has a path to seeing snaps. Very little target competition. Now, of course, as a rookie last year with absolutely zero target competition, he did absolutely nothing with it. So it's not like we can sit here and act like, oh, okay, yeah, he's good. No. But pick 140. I think it's an okay spot. I definitely would have taken Ezekiel Elliott or Zach Charbonnet if they would have made it. But going back over to green beans, I don't know if it's because like my parents, like growing up, I mean, I don't blame them. There was a lot of us. We just ate the cheapest meals you could ever imagine over and over and over again. I think it's probably a very common thing from people who grew up in the suburbs. So things that I can never eat now because I ate so much when I was a little kid and they gross me out now. Fish sticks, can't do it. I can't believe I would eat them every day. Hot dogs, chicken nuggets. I would also, like the only vegetable I probably ate for the first 10 years of my life was like canned green beans. So like I think of green beans, I just think the something with the least flavor humanly possible. And I no interest. So okay. I don't know what to do here. Stafford not in play. Cousins not really in play. If we wanted to take Cousins, it would have been the last round. We would have taken Darnell Mooney in this one. If we go Dowdle, he's our last running back. I think we're gonna take Darnell Mooney. I don't know what we should have done, to be honest with you. I like Mooney. I think he's going to run a lot of routes this year. Should be an offense with a considerable amount of passing volume. Obviously, both Drake London and Kyle Pitts have a ton of promise. But it's not necessarily like they've proven that they're going to be able to dominate consistently with the 30% target. I mean, London's not going to come out here and have a CeeDee Lamb level target share. I mean, it's a possibility, but it's not a guarantee. So we'll just go back-to-back wide receivers here that should be in high volume. I mean, I don't want to say the charge is going to be high volume passing attack. We're going to go with one receiver in high volume passing attack and the other one that's just attached to a good quarterback. Okay. Bone says, do you think Drake May is wrath-hearted? I have no idea what that means, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and look this up. Wrath-hearted. I'm searching this on Twitter. I still don't know what this means. Does not seem to be a popular term. Definition. Anger, rage, fury, indignation, wrath men are an intense emotional state induced by displeasure. No idea, my friend. No idea. Mike trying to get us to go carnivore. My friend, please let me know if you've done high volume cardio on carnivore. Genuine question. Because I've not met anybody who's been able to. I think you make an argument for Ray Davis, touchdown upside in Buffalo. You can make an argument, James Cook hasn't really been able to prove himself in the red zone. Plus, good offense. If James Cook goes down, you have additional upside. I actually kind of prefer Antonio Gibson. Not going to lie to you. I mean, this is a coaching staff that doesn't have an allegiance to Ramadre. I do think Ramadre is most likely the starter, but it's not a guarantee. Gibson should have a receiving down role with a little bit of upside for more. So I think it makes sense to go Gibson as an RB5. And we'll pass on Ray Davis. The Pound, happy to see you, my guy. I still don't know what that means. Yeah. Kind of need to have, like tomorrow, I think today I did not do the 6-hour bike because I killed myself yesterday. Today, we only biked for an hour 45 and swam for an hour. But tomorrow, I think we're going to bike for 6 hours. So like 120 miles. And I don't know if we are able to do that, my friend, without getting some carbs in us. Michael says, high volume cardio on keto is fine. Body produces glucose. For long distance, keto adaptation is a big advantage. Michael. And I'm just being like genuine here. I'm not trying to be an ass. Trust me. I promise you I'm not trying to be an ass. Because I'm interested. I've tried carnivore before. But that was when I was like doing CrossFit a while ago. Have you ever done anything close to like 5-6 hours of cardio in a day on carnivore? Okay, so let's pivot this over. QB tight end is interesting to us. Obviously, kind of have to be looking at these guys soon. The issue is just there's absolutely nobody that's close here. We're not taking any more running backs. I think we'd probably go Marvin Mims as our last receiver. I don't really have a ton of faith in Troy Franklin. Mims is a wide receiver that gave us spike weeks last year. You have no Jerry Jeudy this season. He's only a rookie last year. He was drafted in round 2. So, yeah, I actually do like the Mims profile. Michael says, give it 6 weeks and yes, swim, bike, run. Okay, maybe we try it, my friend. Maybe we try it. Now let's move this over. And, of course, if you want another draft, I have no idea how many likes we have on this stream, but I know we have about 400 people watching. If we get 300 likes on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, we'll fire up another draft after this one. So you go down there, hit that like button if you have not done so already. Okay. Mike says, there are world-class deck athletes who are on carnivore. Please give me some names, my guy. I mean, I've done carnivore before. Never done carnivore and trained for 5-6 hours cardio at the same time. Okay. So let's move this over. Levis not really in play for us, especially now that Jake's gone. I mean, McCarthy for sure is when we have Jefferson and Addison. We are just going to be going QB tight end through the rest of this draft. So looking at the teams behind us, we don't really need to be concerned about any of these teams taking McCarthy. This team is Stroud and Burrow. They can't take another quarterback. The only team that can take another quarterback is Caleb Baker. They don't, I mean, they have 3 tight ends, so they actually need to be slamming running back. And this team is Mahomes, Deshaun, and nobody here behind us has like Hawkinson. So I think we're going to get McCarthy on the way back around. We'll take Jonnu here as our second tight ends. And we'll see. We'll see. King says new YouTube layout makes it harder to find the like button. Let me see, my friend. I have noticed since I've been streaming over the past few years, I am way more likely to hit the like button whenever I stream. I'm sorry, not whenever I stream, but like whenever I'm watching somebody. Looks easy to me. I haven't updated my app. Okay, so here, I think we can make an argument for only 2 QBs with Lamar and like McCarthy. I think you make an argument for 3 QBs. I think you make an argument for 3 tight ends. Okay, let's go ahead and move this down. I don't know what we should do when we have the Lamar Andrews stack. Obviously, we're going to take another quarterback. We're about to take McCarthy here. But I don't know what we're doing beyond that. Anthony says Darnold could play the whole season. Is he worth it in round 18? I mean, yeah, if you wanted to go ahead and mix in Darnold, the thing is he's not going to be drafted in too many of these tournaments. So you could always go through and you can always take someone that you think is not getting drafted, has an outside chance to actually be a starter. Like for an example, in the tournament yesterday that we had both Bijan and London, we whiffed on Cousins. And we ended up going with Michael Penix in the last round. This team goes with an unstacked McCarthy, and their 4 running backs are James Cook, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Deonta Foreman. Good luck competing with James Cook, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Deonta Foreman. Good luck. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's move this over. Obviously, we need QB. Let's just think about what we could potentially do here. We can go Gardner Minshew if we want. I think we're going to go Kraft, and then we're going to be taking Gardner Minshew. We're going to go Gardner Minshew, get the double stack with Devontae Adams as well as Jacoby Myers. My friend, I have no idea what you mean, Bones. No idea. Let me go ahead and move this around. Loop says, what's wrong with Chig? He had a really good season. I don't see the downside. He goes way too late. If you are making an argument against him, you do have a considerable amount of competition coming over to Tennessee. You had Pollard. I'm sorry, but you have Pollard coming over. I don't think that makes too big of a difference. But you are adding in Calvin Ridley. You are adding in Tyler Boyd, who should kind of operate in a similar area of the football field. It should be an offense that projects to be pretty poor overall. So, yeah, I mean, I can completely understand why people are off at Jig. I mean, I'm drafting him at ADP. I'm not going to sit here and make an argument that he's a massive value. I think it's... But all these tight ends here, it's just kind of go get your guy. I would have rather Jig over Jonnu and Kraft. Okay, so let's move this around. And for the love of God, Lamar, please pull through for us. We're going to need you, my friend. We're going to get you a little bit of help here with someone that's not getting drafted very often with Gardner Minshew. I think the contract indicates that he's the starter for the Raiders. We took Devontae Adams. We took Jacoby Myers. Obviously, we are wanting to have some options at lower ownership overall. So maybe, just maybe, there's a 1% chance that Gardner Minshew comes out, turns into a top 5 quarterback. We smash on all 3 of those options. And also Lamar is a top 3 QB in his own right. And we get the spike least when we need him in weeks 15, 16, 17. Okay. I am not projecting out Aiden O'Connell will be the starter. I do think it's Gardner Minshew. Let's go ahead and let's take Minshew here as our QB2. Don't love it. Obviously would have preferred McCarthy in the previous round, but the Dogwater team with Deonta Foreman, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, James Cook as their running back room took an unstacked McCarthy, stealing him from us. But I think that's all we have. Appreciate you as always, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Be live tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. Going to be live pretty much every single day. So, of course, if you want to hop in and draft with us, you can find that link in the description, comment section, live chat. It's everywhere. Underdog Fantasy. Code FLOCK going to get you hooked up with a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Plus our 2024 fantasy football rankings. Plus you'll get a special NBA pick'em. And Underdog's available in damn near every state. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great night and hope we get to see you out with a live stream tomorrow night.